We are live. Okay, hey, welcome to the live broadcast where today we are actually going to be talking about, hey, all things about the Costa Rican border, whether you're going to Paso Canoas at the Panama border or if you're going to the Nicaraguan border. Hey, how many border crossings are there and which one's better? Is it actually better to go to Nicaragua or Panama? And hey, anyway, and then, hey, even if you're not going to be doing a border run, hey, let's talk about shopping at the border and how much money you can save. Okay. So, first off, hey, let me know, how is the audio and how do we look? Okay. So, do I sound good? And not only do we sound good, how do you like my new place? Wait a minute. Oh, you don't think it's a new place, huh? No, you're right. It's a virtual screen. You don't want to see the place I'm in. All right. Good. I'm getting some sounding good and looking good as always. Well, thank you. I needed that. All right. So, hey, real quick though, before we jump into it, I got a quick announcement here because we're going to be talking about all things about the border, but I am, and some of you folks might be looking for a free vacation. Well, here's a way that you can get a free vacation. If you are actually, hey, welcome to the live stream, Bill. Hey, if you are looking for a free vacation, in other words, if you're wanting to come to Costa Rica and you want to learn about YouTube, you want to learn about the off-grid homestead, self-sufficiency, you want to learn about online, building a business online, well, check the link below. I'm looking for an intern where you can have an almost free vacation. So check that out. So anyway, that's just a quick announcement. Let's get into actual everything about the border. And remember, you can join live, okay, and just go to the link that's in the, well, there's a link in the description. There's also one in the chat box. So, okay, well, look, talking about the border. Now, I hope you've watched my last video. I went to the border just a few days ago, and it was an absolute nightmare. So I'm pretty shocked at, all the things that have been happening and all of the changes that have been actually happening at the border when it comes time for a border run. Now, it's real important that, hey, if you're coming to Costa Rica, odds are that if you're coming to live here, well, odds are you're going to have to do a border run at some point in time while you're here. Now, if you have enough money and you're coming down here and you're really, when I say have enough money, you've already done the research. You know that you want to buy a property. And if you buy that property and you meet the requirements, or if you just go ahead and you pay an attorney to start that residency process. Well, in starting the residency process, that process in itself can take a year and a half, 2 years. It can take a long time. And the attorneys will tell you that you now have your golden ticket. You don't have to do a border run. However, what they oftentimes forget to tell you is that you still have to do a border run if you are driving in Costa Rica. Now, if you're not driving, you don't have to. But if you're driving, in order for your driver's license to remain valid in Costa Rica, there's a whole nother department that doesn't care about whether you're a resident or not. And so you have to continue stamping out every 90 days so that you can legally drive. Now, once you become an actual temporary resident, then you no longer have to worry about that part of it, okay? Or if you're a digital nomad, if you, the digital nomad, I'm about to go through that digital nomad process. Hopefully in the next 2 to 3 weeks, I will be a digital nomad, or I am a digital nomad, but I'll have a digital nomad visa, okay? So with a digital nomad visa, you don't have to stamp in and out the border, and all of that is just really set on autopilot, and you can be here for up to 2 years with that, okay? So anyway, let's go back to the actual border itself. Now, I won't go into all the details on what you have to cross the border. That is in the other video, and if you want that information, hey, go to the link in the description. You can download a PDF that really gives you a list of everything that you need to know, and some really great instructions on this is what's going to happen step by step by step, along with, some pictures in there, make that border crossing so much easier for you. Okay. And by the way, if you don't have your apple juice, go ahead and get your apple juice out. I got to have apple juice, keep that wet my whistle, keep me talking. Anyway, talking about the border, it has gotten rough. It has gotten way, way, way more corrupt than it ever has been. I talk about the details of that inside the members only area. I wish I could share the details on that on this live, but unfortunately I have to keep everything as positive as possible. Otherwise, YouTube wants to slap me around. So anyway, just know that while it is corrupt, if you have your wits about you and you're very careful, you don't have to worry about all of that, okay? So anyway, download that PDF. It's free download. Yes, you got to put in your name and email, but no big deal. Download that PDF, okay? Also, if you want to be an intern, you can do that, but let me go on. Whoops, hang on one second here. I'm looking at my stuff right here. There we go. All right, so right now, let's talk about how many borders are they. So if you're in Costa Rica, depending on where you're living at, okay, you do have 2 borders. Matter of fact, you know what? Let me just share my screen. And if I share my screen, then I can show you a map of those borders. So I'm going to share my screen real quick on that, okay? That way, instead of me just telling you, you'll know exactly where those borders are at, okay? That'll make life so much easier for you. So hang on one second here as I get my screen ready. I'm going to show you exactly, and it's going to make things so much easier because you'll be able to understand and see exactly where I'm talking about, okay? All right, let me share my screen and go back to the software real quick. And all right, let me know here if you can see my screen. You should see a large Costa Rican map, okay? All right, looks like it's coming up. Fantastic. Okay, so let's just go straight down south, okay? Because that's where I normally end up going. And, most people will end up going way down here. So down here at the border, this is Paso Canoes. And most everybody goes there. And I guess that's probably because it's just well known. But if you go down to the border of Panama right here, Paso Canoes, if I open this up, you're going to see that there's the immigration's office right here for Costa Rica. And then the immigration office for Panama is on this side. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the satellite image on, and you can actually see a lot better, or you can actually see the buildings, which is really kind of cool just in itself, okay? So this building right here is the immigration's office. No, I'm lying to you. That is Bank of Costa Rica. Okay. Here's the immigration office right here with this big green building. So this is the immigration's office, and this is where you would actually go to stamp out of Costa Rica. But before you go, right across the way, right here is where you can go and get everything that you need as far as your exit tax, copies, and all that stuff. But that's the immigration's office. Then you'll just walk down here. Once you get done with Costa Rica, then you'll come down here, this big white building. This big white building is the immigration's office for Panama. And so they actually cover the whole highway because, of course, they're inspecting vehicles that are going in and out of Panama. Okay. So right here is where you can exit in and out, but you have to be extremely, extremely careful when exiting out right here, because I haven't seen this problem in some places, but here it really is bad because you have people that, hey, they want to help you. But they're con artists, and so they're not helping you for free. They're not just nice guys. They want to help you, but it is going to be a huge fee just depending on what kind of help you need. So it's important that you know that. So let me go back, and that's one place and the most popular place in Costa Rica, okay? Let me zoom out, and so you can see where the road crosses. The other place is over on the Caribbean side. If you go to the Caribbean side right here, and I'm going to zoom in, over at Puerto Viejo, that is really a fun place to go. Puerto Viejo is kind of a small version of Jaco. So, man, if you like a party town, that is where the action is at. So, just a little side info there, Puerto Viejo. But, hey, it can get dangerous. And, look, when I was there, a lot of drugs. Everybody wanted to sell me some drugs, even though I told them, hey, look, I don't need none. I got plenty, thank you. I don't do drugs. But anyway, hey, I got plenty. I don't need any anyway. Puerto Viejo can be dangerous. And I've had a lot of people say they've never had anyone offer them drugs or try to sell them drugs. So, hey, that's just my experience. But look, right up here, you can go down here to what's called Sixaola. So Sixaola is really just a tiny, tiny place. And so in Paso Canoes, where you can do a lot of duty-free shopping, lots and lots, you can do the same here at Sixaola. There's duty-free shopping, but it really is just a small, small town, okay? So it's a really small place, but sometimes it's easier to go in right there. Now, I have been through Sixaola several times, but not recently. So if you've been through Sixaola recently, and if you had a hard time or whatever, hey, and if someone's telling me I'm pronouncing it wrong, hey, I pronounce English wrong, so I pronounce everything wrong. That's okay, but I am trying. It's Sixaola or Sixaola. Anyway, whatever it is, you can go there and you can stamp out. And if I zoom all the way in, or zoom, you'll be able to see that, hey, immigrations is right there. So you can see immigrations here. And look, just a little side note, there's immigrations here. And look, just something that might make things easier for you if you happen to go there and you don't know what's going on. If you do click the layers right here and you see the satellite version of it, a lot of times then you can, like there's immigrations. If you click on immigrations itself, then you can get photos and you can scan through those photos. And a lot of times you might even see a photo of that building, which might make it easier for you to find. But hey, it's just a little side tip there, okay? So Sixaola is a cool place to actually stamp out of. And if you're going to stamp out and if you're going to stay, hey, look, right down here at Bocas de Toro is a neat place to go visit. So you might want to go visit that place while you're there, a couple of these islands. But that is really just a fun place, okay? So anyway, those are, the Panama border has 3 different places that you could actually stamp out of. So you do have the Caribbean side, you do have the Pacific side, and my favorite place to stamp out and where I highly recommend you stamp out is going to be right here in the middle. And that's close to the very popular town of San Vito. I say it's popular down there, fairly good size. And if we scroll in, then there's Sabalito right here. But right here is Rio Sereno. Man, look, I found out what a horror story it was to go down to Paso Canoes, and people told me that Rio Sereno was the best place to go, and I agree. I have almost never had any problems going to Rio Sereno. And Rio Sereno is really a very, very small town as well. So if you go there, you can do some duty-free shopping here as well, but it is tiny. So, and I'll just click on the layers again so I can show you, because when you get here, let me zoom in. Make sure I didn't lose myself here. I think I did lose myself. Hold on one second. It should be right here. Almost certain here. Let me go back to layers and I'll find it real quick. And while you're up here, if you go to La Union up here, you can get gasoline up here at La Union. You can get it a whole lot cheaper than you can in Costa Rica, but getting gas at La Union is not nearly as cheap as getting gas down in Paso Canoes. So down in Paso Canoes, you can get it a whole lot cheaper down there. Oh, here we are. So let me zoom in right here, because this is where I wanted to bring you, and I kind of got sidetracked. So right here, there's Panama immigrations right here. And right here is where there is Costa Rica immigrations. If you're doing your research online, the bad thing about finding videos and information about stamping in and out of the border is it changes so much that it can almost change from one time to the other. Basic stuff is the same. But used to, you went into immigrations here, but they now have a brand new building, and they pretty much do all of Costa Rica immigrations in this great big huge building right here. But look, when you get done, you walk that gravel road, you go right here into Panama, where you meet the rudest, crudest, ugliest, meanest Panamanians you'll ever see. I think it's a requirement to have that job. You could be Forrest Gump, they still won't smile at you, okay? That's just the way they are. But you can stamp in, go into the town and do some duty-free shopping, okay? So anyway, that's the 3 places that are inside Panama. But let's go north, because let me show you the map here. You know, if you're living anywhere from south of San Jose, then it's going to be best for you just to go to the Panama border and stamp out. But if you're living north, or San Jose north, well, then there's 2 places that you can actually stamp out at the Nicaraguan border. And the one that is most popular is right here at Peñas Blancas, okay? So at Peñas Blancas, you can go right up here. I want to say it's about 4 or 5 hours away from San Jose. But once again, it is a fairly small place. And as you can see, that right here is immigrations for Costa Rica, and then there's immigrations for Nicaragua right up there. And the first time I stamped out of Nicaragua, of course, that was about 9 years ago. That was the first time I ever ran into going across the border, and they wanted me to pay an exit tax. I'm like, what's that? I'm paying to leave? I couldn't believe it. But it was Nicaragua that made us pay exit tax. It wasn't Costa Rica. Costa Rica did not have an exit tax at that time. I really think that's what Costa Rica said. Oh, we should charge an exit tax. Yeah, a bogus charge, and we can make money. So, hey, that's just my opinion, okay? Anyway, and shortly thereafter, in 2014, Costa Rica started an exit tax too. And so right here in Nicaragua, not a lot of shopping to be done right here. But, hey, it was a very easy to go in and go out right there, okay? So that's a fun place to stamp out. Now, if you happen to be somewhere located, in this part, which is the La Fortuna area, which is a popular tourist area. So come over here, Fortuna right here, and San Jose. If you're, then the closest place is right here at Los Chiles. So if you zoom into Los Chiles, then right here, tiny, tiny place. Now, this is the only place that I've never stamped into or out of at this border. But you can see that there's immigrations right there for Nicaragua, and then there's immigrations right here on the Costa Rican side. So those are the 5 places that you can actually stamp in and out of, or do your border runs, if you're having to do that. And of course, odds are, if you're going to live here, you're going to probably have to do that. And I'll tell you once again that the best place to do that is going to be up there close to San Vito at the Rio Sereno area. You're going to absolutely love that. But hey, look, let me just show you real quick before I go back to what we're talking about here, is if you're going to the border, and I'm not saying to stamp out, because what I've done is I would stamp out at Rio Sereno, because Rio Sereno is up here, and which you come through Ciudad Nayeli, but Rio Sereno, it's only an hour down. I would stamp out at Rio Sereno, and then I would drive right down here to Paso Canoes, and I would do some shopping, because I'm telling you, there is just a lot of fun shopping to do here in Paso Canoes. Now, when I say fun shopping, it's just really very, very interesting, because you get down here the border, there's a lot of paid parking. I would highly suggest the paid parking. But if you come down this way, there's lots of really, I'm talking about tiny, tiny, tiny shop after shop after shop, where you can find practically anything you're looking for. And then as you get a little bit further down, there's a lot of automobile stuff where you can buy your tires and automobile accessories and stuff like that way cheaper than you can in Costa Rica. So, if you want to buy things for your vehicle and get them at a lot cheaper, wow, you really can right here. So I highly advise going there. And then if you just go way down the highway, I say way down the highway, it's just a couple of kilometers, then you can come down here and there's this gas station. It's only a few years old. And at this gas station, wow, you can get gas about 40% cheaper than what you can in Costa Rica. So anyway, that's just something for you to think about, okay? But anyway, back to shopping, you go right back up here. Oh, while I'm here, be careful that you do not, because you see that these highways run parallel to one another. And so this highway that's on the right here, well, that's the Panamanian highway. And man, you will see it is nice. It's a pretty highway. Whereas Costa Rican highway is not nearly as nice. It is decorated with a few potholes, okay? Anyway, just make sure that you stay on the Costa Rican side and you won't have any problems with your vehicle, because that's a whole nother video in itself. Because used to stamping in and out the border was very, very easy. And I used to could drive across with my vehicle, and it was a matter of I paid $25 to get Panamanian insurance for my vehicle. And then I stopped at one little building to get written permission to have my vehicle across. Oh, look, 30 minutes. I had everything I needed. I could drive across the border, and it just was fun because I could go down to, the Volcan, which was the first little town, the city of David. It was fun, but now you have to get permission from Costa Rica. Hey, just another way to make money from the gringos, so you got to get permission to drive your own vehicle across the border. Anyway, if while you're here and you've done shopping there, my favorite place is to come right through here. There's an alleyway, really is what it is, because you can walk across, and you're on the Panama side, but there's an alleyway right through here, all kind of trinkets. You'll get a lot of the indigenous Indians, and a lot of them are there begging for money, and they send their kids out begging for money. So it's kind of a sad sight. So be prepared, because you're going to have a lot of people asking for money, but you're also going to have a lot of people trying to sell you a brand new iPhone, brand new watches. And hey, don't get conned, because if you buy one, look, you can get a brand new iPhone, $500, but it's not really an iPhone. It looks like it, but if you open up the guts, I actually conned a guy down to $100, and I actually bought one years ago, even though at the time when I was married, my wife said, don't buy it. Stopper was not an iPhone. The inside was full of, I don't know what kind of phone it was, okay? But anyway, it was a waste of money. But hey, go up here, and I found the City Mall. Now, that is a great place to shop because it's huge. You really can find everything here. Now, whether it's quality or not, I don't know. I actually bought a pair of Nikes inside Nike running shoes because I'm a big runner. But I can tell you that those Nike running shoes was not real Nike running shoes. In 2 weeks, the bottoms were falling off of them. So, like I said, you might not find quality, and you just got to be careful. So just beware. But look, you can get lots of shopping, and so it's kind of like going in a super Walmart where you can buy all of the furniture you want, all of the clothes, all of the food. And look, I come here and I'll buy me a 3-month supply of groceries and bring it back to the top of the mountain, okay? And there is free parking underneath here, and they did have free parking across the way, but you got the parking lot attendants, and, hey, just, tip them 1,000 colones, and they'll watch your vehicle, even though it's probably not needed, okay? But hey, it's always safe just to give them 1,000 colones. You don't have to worry about it. But anyway, that shows you the borders of, the 5 different places that you can actually stamp out inside Costa Rica. So anyway, I hope that was very, very beneficial. So let me take a look at some of these questions here and just make sure, because I'm going to answer every single question, okay? And boy, we got a lot of people here and a lot of questions. So anyway, just want to make sure that while we're here, that I don't have any pressing questions, okay? All right. Now, of course, someone did mention, as I was talking about the digital nomad, yes, you do need to prove that you, for a single person, are making at least $3,000 a month, $4,000 a month if you have a spouse or family with you, okay? But anyway, that's a lot easier than the whole rentista, because they mentioned, well, rentista, you only got to show 2,500, but in reality, you got to deposit 60,000 into a bank. But there are some people who say they can get you in the rentista program without having to actually deposit the 60. But anyway, good news, just a quick side note, I have an attorney that's going to be a guest, and we're going to be talking about that and a lot of stuff real soon. So if you haven't already subscribed, make sure you subscribe, because you definitely don't want to miss that, okay? So, oh, Doug, I just love it. Doug says, man, it looks like I'm inside his penthouse. You're right. So anyway, so good. I'm going to be sure to come back across here and answer any of these questions. But let me get off of the screen and we'll go back to where I'm at. So let me go back here and stop sharing the screen. All right. So fantastic. So anyway, let me go back. Let me grab my notes real quick here. All right, so that gives you an idea. Now, a lot of people say, well, hey, you know, which one is easiest? And for me, the easiest one to cross the border on has always been Rio Sereno. Now, some people have mentioned that they took a shuttle, and I don't know who they're paying for a shuttle, but if I get that information, I'll be sure to put it in the description below, and I'll pass it on to you. But someone said that they got a shuttle, and they took care of all of the process of going through Nicaragua for them. Now, the last I checked, Nicaragua was requiring you to have either proof of the vaccination and also your negative COVID test. And that was the whole reason I went to Panama. And I went to Panama because they were not requiring that. Now, obviously, during the pandemic, they were requiring all of that. Everybody was. But Costa Rica dropped it, and a lot of people dropped it, and it got down to just the norm. However, Panama dropped it as well, and then they realized, dang, we're losing a lot of money, and they re-implemented it. Although it's not needed, they implemented it so that they can continue to make more money for all of their people. So I'm just telling you, in my opinion, what happened. So anyway, you do have to be prepared to show that, okay? So I guess the most important thing is a question here is understanding why is it, Alan, that it's getting harder and harder and harder to actually do a border run. Because when I came here 9 years ago in 2013, really, I just had to show my plane ticket or bus ticket, proof of onward travel within 90 days. And I had to show proof of solvency, making sure, you know, either $500 in cash or bank statements. You know, they don't want bums here. I can understand. And so it was really easy to go in and out the border, and didn't have any problems with the exception of Panamanian. They were rude, crude, and mean back then too. Just always has been. But I could go in and out the border with no problem. Never had to stay overnight. Never had to stay 72 hours. Always done it within just a couple of hours. But it's getting tougher and tougher. And the reason why is because obviously, if you look at it from Costa Rica's mindset, you're a tourist. Come here, have fun. But if you're 90 days, you're not a tourist. You're living in the country. Stink and pay taxes. Pay into the Caja system, because we don't want some bum coming down here, go and get medical insurance and not paying for it. So I can understand from Costa Rica's perspective. However, Costa Rica, if you don't want people being a perpetual tourist, then make it easier for people to become a resident. And so I can understand why, hey, I know a lot of people that's been a perpetual tourist for over 20 years. So it's just part of it, okay? So anyway, that gives you an idea right there. From their perspective, now they really doing a whole lot of things with the new laws, the digital nomad visa. The way they're looking at it is there's no reason now why you should be a perpetual tourist. If you're a perpetual tourist, well then, you know, you got a problem, you got a criminal background, or you can't afford it. We don't want you here. But still, I can't say that's all true, because they still make it very difficult. And look, there's a lot of people that just can't meet that $3,000 a month minimum or have $60,000 to be a rentista, and they're not retired like me. I'm not retired. So it is a challenge. Okay. So, hey, I can understand from that perspective as well. Hey, look, one real quick note. You know, now at least finally Costa Rica has, and even Panama has gotten it to where you can take care of most of the things that you need for doing a border run, as far as getting your exit tax filling out your health pass for Panama. You can do most of that online. So, hey, all of your copies, for your passports, your banking, your exit tax, your health pass, do all that online, and it will make your border runs so much easier. Okay. So anyway, and a quick note, don't forget, whenever you're in Costa Rica, the moment you go into Panama, you are stepping an hour ahead of time. So you have to remember that Panama is an hour ahead. So that's something to remember when you're doing your border run, because when you're coming back in, and I think they normally close 5 or 6, and you're thinking, I got plenty of time, and you didn't reset your watch, you forgot the time change, they could be closed, and well, now you're stuck in the country another day. And while there is no law that says you're required to stay 24 hours, Panama is now forcing you to stay 24 hours. So it's important that you're prepared to do that. All right. So anyway, there's lots of resources for that. So, hey, that is really everything that you need to know about the Panama border runs. Now, real quick, I'm going to take a look at any questions real fast. And if you got any questions, now is the time to ask any questions that you want to know about according or as far as it goes to border runs or as far as visiting the border. One thing I do want to say real quick before I take a look at some of those questions, I love to shop at the border, but whenever I'm shopping at the border, I typically, if I'm going to shop, I make sure that I don't park anywhere near the immigration's office, because even though there's nothing wrong with shopping at the border, whenever you're stepping back into Costa Rica, you normally won't have any problem stepping back in, but then they'll take it to another department. They're going to ask you to declare, right? Fill out a form, to declare whatever you've purchased. And I did that. And so they made me drive my vehicle around so that they can inspect my vehicle, inspect my backpack. And look, that Costa Rican guy who was inspecting me, he went nuts whenever he saw I had a bunch of bags in the back of my vehicle, because in his opinion, if I'm in Costa Rica, I need to buy all my stuff in Costa Rica and not at Panama. So anyway, just beware. I would not park close to there. And when you stamp back into Costa Rica and they ask, how did you get here? Tell them that you rode the bus and you're going to catch the bus back into town, or you had a friend drop you off and you're going to call him and he's going to pick you back up. Because, hey, look, it's not illegal, but you don't want to have to put up with somebody yelling and screaming at you and you didn't do anything wrong, okay? So just to give you some input there, okay? So anyway, that's just some food for thought. So let me take a look at some of the questions. Now, if you have any questions, now's a good time to put them in there so that I can be sure to answer those questions while I'm scrolling up here at the top, okay? And I do want to say thanks to everybody for your comments, your questions. And, right now I'm not at the off-grid homestead. And I'm in this wonderful place right here that's absolutely free. I wish I could tinkle on that anyway. So, and I'm, as you know, if you've been watching the channel, we're doing a series on building a house in Costa Rica and everything that you need to know. And hey, there's a lot of really important stuff in there. And is it better to build a house? Is it better to actually buy something? Okay. And hey, someone did bring up a good comment here that says, hey, look into that digital nomad visa, because I'm sure you can't change your residency. And no, digital nomad visa is not a residency category. So it's important you know that. It's not a residency category. It's good for 1 year. You can extend it for another year, which means you're here for 2 years. But no, it has nothing to do with your residency. It simply is you're a digital nomad. You're here for a couple of years, and it just gives you the ability to do all kinds of things, open up a bank account, drive, all of that stuff without the hassles of going back and forth to the border. And that's the reason I did it. And then I will eventually reapply to do my actual residency. So I'll just put that off. I'll kick that can on down the road, okay? But no, you definitely, it's not a residency thing. So I'm glad that you brought that up. All right. And And look, someone is asking, well, who's Bill? Well, Bill decided he could come online, and so he can attend live. And if he wants to ask questions live, he can ask questions live. So I sent out an email. Everyone has the opportunity to do that. Fantastic. Okay. Hey, North Country Canoeing says that his wife and he and his wife just purchased some property, and they're going to be heading back down in January. So congratulations. Okay. Yeah, Puerto Viejo is a big difference from Jaco. However, it is a party town just like Jaco. So, but it is different because it does. I'm glad she brought that up because Puerto Viejo has a whole different vibe. Matter of fact, you know, in my opinion, I wouldn't even call Puerto Viejo Costa Rica. I mean, it's just different people, different vibe. Everything's different about it. But indeed, it is a party town. I'm glad that you brought that up because that is important to kind of let people know. It is a huge, huge difference. It's got that Costa Rican, Afro-American vibe. It's a fun, funky vibe. So if you like that, you're going to love Puerto Viejo, okay? Hey, and a lot of people are saying that they're going to Penis Blancas here soon. Hey, let me know if you have any of the same issues that I've ran into, okay? Hey, Brett says, I want out of America. Hey, Costa Rica's open. Okay, now, let me address this because, you know, I always say that nothing is taboo. I'm not scared of anything. And so Sarong here says, hey, Jaco Big Time is a place where a lot of guys tell their wives they're going fishing, but they're not really doing that. They're going there for the gambling and the working girls and the partying. And that may be true. And so it is true that in Costa Rica, prostitution is legal. And so I'm careful what I say here because Costa Rica does not want to promote their sex tourism. And so, yes, there are a lot of prostitutes in Jaco, a lot in San Jose. So, yes, do be careful of that. They do have a lot of massage parlors. And are they real massage parlors? Not if they're putting Vaseline on your skin. They're not. Okay. And so, anyway, you want to be careful of those things. Just be aware. But there are a lot of legitimate things happening in Jaco. It is a lot of fun. They do have a great big, huge Crocs casino down there where you can have a lot of fun there if gambling is your thing, okay? Hey, Alex says he's moving to Alajuela in February. Now, I don't know why anybody would want to move to Alajuela or San Jose because I'm not a city person. But you know what? If you compare that to LA or living in New York City, well, then living in San Jose and Alajuela, Escazú, and that area is, well, that's not even city for those people. So it's all about perspective, really, okay? Hey, look, Doug shared. I'm glad Doug shared this. He said that some of the people in La Fortuna said that going through Los Chiles is like 15 minutes in and out. Dude, I'm glad you said that. You know, now I don't have to do a border run in Los Chiles, but you know what? I think I'm going to go to Los Chiles just to verify that in a couple of months or maybe even sooner since I happen to be in this area. I might go that way, you know, maybe, you know, when it's not so busy on the job that I'm doing right now, I might actually go to Los Chiles to check that out for myself. Okay. Glad that you posted that, Doug. Okay. Now, Sarong said, hey, look, if you have if you're in need of pharmaceutical medications, Nicaragua is the cheapest place to get your meds. Okay. So go there to get that if you need that. Glad to hear that. Going to the town down that says Mangaya. I know I'm not pronouncing that right, but you can go there and get your, you know, generic brands of medications. All right. Lots of people saying that they can share some of the, people that they use whenever they went across the border. So yes, please do. Please share that and let me know so that I can pass that along. All right. Fantastic. And of course, a lot of people are saying the same thing Sarong is saying, is that she loves to do her visa runs or her border runs because you get to meet all these people. And, I enjoy doing them as well. But I really, really, because I'm top notch, above board, all honest, I don't want to get conned. And so I love doing my border runs, or I enjoy doing them. But man, I hate the corruptness in it all. So I'm looking forward to not having to do that again. Okay. All right. So Adrian says, what are some of the ways that you can avoid stamping in and out with less than 90 days? Okay. All right. So really, there is no way to avoid that border run. Now, if you got plenty of money, the easiest way is to buy a plane ticket, and you could fly from Panama to, you can fly from San Jose to Panama. It only costs you you can get plane tickets for under $200, around that $200 frame. So if you buy a plane ticket, man, you can jump from San Jose to Panama, and it takes you to Panama City, a couple of $100. Very easy, but of course you go there, stay a week, enjoy it, and then come back. Okay. So that's one way. Making your runs easier, because you have to every 90 days stamp out. There is no if, and buts about it. So you're either going to have to fly out the country, or you're going to have to go through a land border. Easiest land border is going to be Rio Sereno, but heck, catch a plane to Panama City, or you can catch a plane going from San Jose into Nicaragua. However, a lot of times Nicaragua is unstable. So you do want to be careful about that, before you go. Okay. All right. So a lot of folks are saying, hey, a great shout out. Thanks so much. I'm glad to see everybody here and be looking forward to, because I'm just going to start doing these lives every single Sunday, because we got lots of new topics coming up, lots of new things happening, and I want to be able to share a lot of those things. So, hey, just be looking in your email. So if you haven't already subscribed to my email notifications, look in the description. In the description, you can actually click on the link where you can get emails from me, and I never, ever spam anybody. The only emails you get from me are things about Costa Rica, the next video, a live, and then a lot of things change in Costa Rica. And I just don't have time to quickly do a video, but I can send out an email and say, hey, look, this is important. This has changed. A new law has come up. This is what's happening. Here's an incentive. But anyway, it's important. If I were you, I would subscribe to my newsletter so that you can get those emails from me. And it's an easy way for you to communicate with me. I don't get every email. The best way to communicate with me is in the members only community. Hey, that's 33 cents a day. And it's a great way to support me and give me the motivation I need to continue doing what I'm doing. So it's just a great way to show your appreciation. That's all. I really don't need motivation. Although, hey, a few extra bucks here and there does help, and I'm always very, very thankful for that. Okay. So, hey, I think that is all of the questions. Hey, here's a great resource, because, while it almost always, the core things about doing your border run stay the same, here's a great way to almost always stay informed. If you go to the Panama Embassy website, or the Costa Rican Embassy website, or the Nicaraguan Embassy website, you can go to the U.S. Embassy's website, and all of them have a page on there and information about the requirements to stamp in and out of the country. However, they're not going to tell you everything. For example, in doing this border run into Panama, I was forced to buy a bus ticket that left Panama and went all the way to San Jose. I didn't need a bus ticket, but I was forced to buy one. So that's kind of stuff you're not going to see on the embassy website. I was forced to stay 24 hours. You're not going to see that on there. but hey, you can get, some minimum things. Now, here's something I highly suggest you do, because while that is corrupt, illegal, you can contact the Panamanian embassy. Contact them, call them, email them, complain to them, and ask why is it that Panama is forcing people to stay overnight. And hopefully enough people that will complain can do something about it. Now, while I'm saying that, you can complain to the embassy. However, when you yourself go to the border, never, ever, ever get an attitude. Never think that I'm American and I got my rights. You might be American, but you're a dumb American, because you don't have rights when you're in another country, okay? You're in a third world country. They can tell you, get your nasty butt out of the country, okay? So it's always, always advisable. You're in another country, be respectable. Even if they're not respectable to you, that don't matter. You're in another country, be respectful, be nice, smile, be Forrest Gump, because, that immigration official has the sole authority to say, yep, you can be here for 90 days in Costa Rica. Yes, you can be in Panama for 180 days. Or no, you have to leave tomorrow, okay? So always remember to be respectful. Okay. All right, I'm taking a look at some of these questions right here. Okay. Sarong says she used the same ticket. Let's see what she says here. She's entering Costa Rica from Pinas Blancas, okay? Nicaragua was the cheapest. You just had to have proof that she was leaving Costa Rica in 90 days. A Tika bus ticket at the kiosk on the entering side, and she would buy an open-ended ticket that doesn't have a date for $15. And she's used the same ticket for 3 years. She just needed to get a new jacket for it. So I don't know what a new jacket is, but hey, that's great advice, Sarong. Thanks so much for sharing that information, okay? Okay, Sarong says, can you answer my question about the airline ticket to your mother country of your passport when entering Panama? Now, look, I've never, as long as I showed them a ticket, I didn't have to have one to my mother country, and a lot of people do ask that. And while that has been said oftentimes, then what I do is I just buy a ticket to the United States. So in other words, if I was from stinking Spain or Germany or wherever, I just buy a ticket from from Costa Rica from Costa Rica or Panama to the United States. And then when I get to the border and they ask for my plane ticket, I show it to them. Okay. And I show them what I need and I get out. So I don't ever have that problem. And I know of other people that's done that same thing. Okay. So I don't think that is a problem for you. Now, like a lot of people, what if I don't need a plane ticket? Okay. And inside the members only area, I don't think it's advisable for me to say what you can do. Some people are putting it in the chat. So if you can read the chat, but anyway, in the members only area, I tell you and give you links to what you can do or what I do so that I'm not actually paying a lot of money for a plane ticket. Okay. So there's several options inside the members only area. Save you a lot of money. Okay. So I'm looking through here. Okay, now look, Doug mentioned something that I should bring out because I always do this. Doug says that, the last time that they flew into Liberia, the border agent just forgot to stamp their passport. They didn't look at it and they didn't realize it till they were back at their house, 3 hours away. Now, yes, I always, I'm talking about every single time I do a border run, I look inside my passport to make sure it's been stamped. And I also check to see if I've been given 90 days in case I piss somebody off or maybe he was just having a bad day. So I always look at my passport. Maybe that's just because I'm anal, okay? Did I just call myself a butthole? No, I didn't do that. Anyway, I always check my passport to make sure it has been stamped. So I highly suggest you do that. Okay, so lots of good input down here. Now, if I have not answered your question, okay, please type it in there, okay? Type it in there so that I can answer your question, because I think I have answered just about all of the questions here. But look, I'm going to stay on until I answer every single question. And look, while you're here, because it looks like we got 22 people that are watching. And so while you are here, hey, be sure to hit that like button. And that helps out a whole lot, okay? Be sure to hit that like button. So by the way, while you are here, let me know, the whole time that we've been here on this live stream, how has the audio been? How has the video been? Has it been blurry? Has it been clear? Has the audio go in and out? I'd like to know, because I am using some new software here, but the software, I've used it a few times, but it seems like it has been working well. So give me some feedback. Let me know. I'd like to know how this software has been working. And how have I looked inside my new house? Does everything look good inside my new house? Okay, Adrian says that the audio and video has been perfect. No complaints. Wow, that's great. Okay, that's good to know. Okay, and hey, yeah, it's a green screen here. And from my side, every once in a while, my hands and fingers will disappear. But I don't think that's a big issue. Maybe it doesn't do that for you guys. I don't know. Okay. Nice new fake house. Well, thank you. Thank you. I'm glad you like my fake house. I've been thinking about painting a little bit, Says my head is blending in on my green screen. Okay, that's good. Yeah, there's a strange black cloud floating around. That's actually my new hairdo. I've been working on my hair. And anyway. All right. Fantastic. Hey, look, what's really neat is because when you go to Panama, it's crazy to me how cheap it is. And that's what, some folks are saying here. When you go across the border, it is important. I love Costa Rica, and there's a lot of things I don't like about Costa Rica, and the price is one of them. But Costa Rica is the most expensive Latin America company to live in. It's just extremely expensive, okay? So there are a lot of places that you can go live in that's cheaper. But in my opinion, not nearly as pretty, not nearly as safe. So, hey, there are a lot of pros and cons. But for me, the pros have always outweighed the con. And I've always said, look, if you can control your environment, you're going to just enjoy Costa Rica. And what I mean by controlling the environment is that, I've rented in a lot of places. And, you're almost renting. There's going to be a house next door to you. You can't control the environment. So I move in, and the neighbors next door are nice. All of a sudden, they get a dog. It has 15 puppies. They keep all of them. And now you're living next to a house that's constantly, and you can't sleep. Or one of the teenagers, the girl turns 15, and then they decide to have a party every single Friday night. And they're inviting me by turning up their stereo so loud, I don't have to listen to my music. So, when you can control the environment, you can really enjoy your slice of paradise. So when buying a piece of property, you definitely need to make sure that you buy a piece of property where your neighbors are not too close, and, you're not going to have to worry about barking dogs and, loud music. So when you can control the environment, you really can just absolutely enjoy paradise. I really do like it. All right. Well, look, we've been going almost an hour, and I know that's short for what we normally had, but I always like to have somebody with me, and I don't have somebody with me to, kind of pass these ideas back and forth with, okay? So, hey, I greatly appreciate you being here, and if you're looking for a free vacation, or you want to learn all about the off-grid homestead, self-sufficiency, life in Costa Rica, and you want to become a Costa Rican intern, check the link below the video where you can click on that link and get more information about that, okay? So, hey, I think I have answered all of the questions. If you've got any questions, now's the chance to put it in there so that I can answer those questions. So I'm giving you just a couple more minutes to do that. I greatly appreciate you, all of you joining. Do have a guest speaker that some videos that's going to be coming up this week with a guest speaker, and we're going to have a lot of fun finding out what do you need to know about buying property in Costa Rica. Because buying property in Costa Rica, you do have to be very, very, very careful. I talked to a guy just yesterday. I went to a men's breakfast at the church, and a guy I was talking to there said he found this great piece of property. And he was getting ready to buy this piece of property. He called his attorney. He had gone back home to the United States, called his attorney and told the attorney, look, I got to release $30,000 as deposit to hold this property. I want to buy this piece of property. So the attorney, he gave the attorney permission to send that money there. Well, the attorney started looking into it, called him back and says, look, I can't release this $30,000. And the guy got mad. He says, look, I want to buy this property. He says, something's fishy. Something is fishy about this property. He says, I want to buy the property. Well, he didn't release the money. And in just a few days, he calls the guy back up and says, look, you don't want to buy this property? Because I just found out the woman who's trying to sell you this property has already sold this property 3 or 4 times already. She doesn't even own the property. And look, she'll sell you that property and you won't own it either. So you're going to learn some very important information. And I'm doing the research for you so that you can avoid buying a piece of property that you'll never get to step on. All right. So I hope that's good information for you. Hey, big shout out to Terrence. Thank you so much. You donated some funds toward us. Greatly appreciate you supporting us. And look, at any time, you can always donate by just hitting that $sign right there. You can also donate by becoming a member inside our members-only community. Someone here just put in a question, which is a real important question. Says, has there been any changes in Costa Rica's attitude towards vaccinations of children? So here's what I can tell you. The new president came in. He stopped all mandatory vaccinations, okay? Stopped all mandatory vaccinations. However, what you do need to know is that in Costa Rica, if you send your children to public schooling, it's not like the United States. The United States, no nurse can give medications to your child, cannot inject your child with anything, can't even give your child an aspirin, okay? However, in Costa Rica, it's not that way. They will actually send the nurses in, line up the kids, and give all the kids vaccinations. And now you can, okay, tell them you don't want your kids having a vaccination, and you can educate your children. I wouldn't take the chance. And eventually I'll have children in Costa Rica, I hope. But if I were in your shoes and I had children in Costa Rica, I would not put my children in the public schooling. I would not. I would homeschool my children. There's lots of great homeschool opportunities, but I'd homeschool my children, and I would not put my children in the public schooling. And that way you won't have to worry about Costa Rica vaccinating your child with something they already have or don't need or don't want, okay? That's my take on that, so I hope I answered that question, okay? Now, Strong says that homeschooling is illegal in Costa Rica. I don't know about that. I'd greatly appreciate you sending me an article on that, but they were already doing some homeschooling in Costa Rica because of the pandemic. And so anyway, I don't know about that. That's what I would do. Regardless of whether it's illegal or not, I would be homeschooling my child. But I'm glad that you shared that, Strong, okay? Really appreciate that. Matter of fact, I know a Tika who's my neighbor up there on the mountain, and she's homeschooled. So as far as it being illegal, well, I don't know about that because she's a Tika and she's homeschooled because she lives way up on the mountain. Now, she has to go in every once in a while, I don't know, every 3 months, 6 months and take tests, but she's homeschooled. So anyway, so I don't know, so hey, give me some information, share some information about that illegal homeschooling in Costa Rica deal. All right. Well, I think I've answered all of the questions. Hey, look, greatly appreciate you all being here. I'm going to go ahead and shut it down. Hey, we've been live for an hour. I hope you've had a great time, and I hope you found all of this information highly, highly beneficial towards you. I know I've had a good time, and I certainly look forward to doing it again next Sunday at the same time. All right. Thank you so much. Y'all have a great, great day. Hey, thank you so much, everybody.